Hey everybody, welcome back to Lead Therapy. Well, as you can see from the title of the video, I had a visit from some people from the ATF. And as you can also see in the title that there's a part 1 and part 2 because there actually is 2 parts to this. One of them that they, when I finally got to talk to somebody on the phone, gave me some information about, but when they actually made it to the house, they talked to me about that, but then they went in a totally different direction that you guys won't believe. But of course, what's going on with the ATF lately and all that, you'll believe it. So basically, I came home Friday evening, last Friday evening, sometime after 5 o'clock, and this card was attached to my door. Let me cover something up. And as you can see, it's from, I think you can see it. It says from the ATF, and actually it says the U.S. Department of Justice, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. The person's name, it's a woman, special agent. Like I said, I'm not going to get any of their information out, and their contact numbers and so on and so forth. On the back of the card it says, Troy, please call me, and she puts her cell phone number. So, you know, I'm not a person to freak out. I know I don't do anything wrong. Got a clean record. Excuse me. And so at about 5:30 I called the number, and like I said, this was Friday. And there was no answer, and I left a voice message. Saturday comes around, about whatever afternoon, there was still nobody called me, and so I left another message. Sunday came around and decided, well, I'm not going to call. Sooner or later, if they want to get a hold of me, they'll get a hold of me. Monday came around, and then I somehow had no idea that it was a holiday, that it was Columbus Day. There was no call. I called the number, left another message. Tuesday, I was out, running errands, got some groceries and all that, came home after 2 or 2:30, and I checked on my actually home phone. I don't have an answering machine or anything, but I checked the caller ID, and that number had called me back. So I called her back right away. And basically what it was is a firearm that I did a face-to-face transfer or face-to-face sale to somebody came up, but she called it gun trace. And later on to find out that somehow it got to somebody that was a felon, and then of course it was traced back to me. Now for those who you don't live in Florida, you can do like a personal sale to somebody, and you don't have to go to an FFL and get a background check. You don't have to write any information down. I don't make the laws, but that's what it is. And they asked me if I had written anything down. She asked me on the phone, and I said no. And I knew I had purchased that firearm sometime in late last year or middle of last year. I don't know the exact one, but of course they had that information. And then she wanted to know, well, what happened with that firearm? And I told her that I had sold that at a gun show. And at first I said it was sometime in March. Of course, they could see whenever the gun show was. But then as I got to thinking, when they actually came to the house and I talked to them, that it might have been January, February, but they can see whatever shows, because I'm not even sure that since COVID started around March, they might not be open. But I told her, the description of the person that I could remember anyway, and I did check to make sure they were a Florida resident. You have to make sure that they're a Florida resident. Ask for their ID, and this person was that they're over 21, and from what I can remember, they were mid to late 20s. And I gave them a description and all that, and she reassured me that I was not in trouble. Didn't bring up anything else of any other thing that they were concerned with or anything, but she said they still need to visit with me. And I said, well, that's fine if you need to. And she goes, how about tomorrow, which meant Wednesday, between, I think she said 2:30 and 3 o'clock. I said, that's fine. And she goes, well, can we meet you, can you meet us at the sheriff's department? And I said, I didn't say to her, but in my mind I would go, if they came to the house on Friday and gave the card, why do I need to meet them in the sheriff's department to meet them? And you know, I'm thinking most likely, you know, that they feel more safe there or whatever. But so anyway, I said, well, no, I can't do that. I said, do you want to meet me at the house like you did like you tried on Friday when I wasn't here? And she said yes. So of course they don't show up until after 4 o'clock and all that. But they finally get here, and she was with a guy. He said he didn't have a card with him, but I had them both show me their ID to make sure everything was up, and it was. I had them come in here and sit down at the table where I'm making the video at right now. My son didn't ask him to, but he said he wanted to be here, so he was able to get off work, which I didn't know he was going to do until last minute. So he was here, but he wasn't in the room. He was in the other room, but he could hear what we were saying anyway. So basically, we went over the same information about the sale and all that, and so I thought that was pretty much it. And but the guy started asking questions that then you could tell that they were fishing for something. And he was saying, well, how do you decide which firearms to sell or what guns to sell if you're going to, you know, don't want them anymore, or you're gonna try to trade them in or sell them for, you know, to buy something else and all that. And I'm sitting there in my head going, why is he asking these questions? And you know, I said, well, you know, I'm a collector. I have been for God knows how long. I don't buy guns or firearms to turn around and sell them because that's against the law. I buy to collect. I buy some that are might not be in some working order. I like to tinker with them a little bit, but then they're in my collection. I'm nowhere near a gunsmith, so I've screwed some up in the past. I usually like to buy some of the cheaper ones, so I'm not out of a lot of money. Last year, I took to the liking of those cheap revolvers that are made in Germany called RG-ROMs, I think they are. And I like them because I like history and all that. And they even have the dates of when they were made on the side of most of them do. And so I purchased quite a few of those, and in the past I've purchased quite a few of the cheaper, you know, little 25s or 38s or you know, 22s or whatever. Some of them working, some not working, just to play and mess around, but keep them in my collection. And of course, over time, you know, your collection can get too big and all that, and then of course, then you might want to sell something, or there's a new firearm that's out that you want, and you don't want to just take money that you know that you've got money sitting right there in the firearms. And in the past, I have done trades, even though they're not giving you a lot and all that. So I'm going to leave this as part 1, but you can see where I'm going with this. And I'm going to make the part 2, and I'll put it out tomorrow. But all I will say is, if you are a gun collector, and you don't even have to be a gun collector, if you're a person that, and a lot of us have done it, have purchased firearms, had them, whatever, how long or whatever, and then for whatever reason you wanted to get rid of them, you didn't like how they shot, you didn't like how they felt, like I said, your collection if you have a collection, it got too big, whatever, and you wanted to try to use it to trade it in on something else because something else new that caught your eye, but they don't want to give you, you know, a good price, so then you sell it to a private seller. You can see where I'm going with this. So I'm doing a part 2, but you guys really need to listen to this and where they tried to go with this and where they did go with it up to a point. So look forward to that video tomorrow. Sorry this is too long, but it's some information I do want to get out there, and we'll see you tomorrow.